Now, what else makes us different? What else makes us different is the physical landscape of America. If you took the seed of what America and Americans are, and you planted it in Switzerland, we would not have become the same nation. The topography, the geography of the United States is spectacularly different and special. I don't know if you guys know, but America is the third largest country in the world in terms of physical space, after Russia and Canada. But it's also true that we are the third largest population on the planet. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that. So we are that big dog in the room. We really are big. We're influential in the world because there's a lot of us. But what's interesting about it is that in this land, in this incredible place called America, the geography contributed to who we are and continues to contribute to what we will become. This is a big country. Huge. Here's a thought. If you took all 7 billion citizens of the world and you brought them to the United States of America, America would have half the population density of Bangladesh. That's 7 billion people. As a matter of fact, if you took the entire population of the planet and you brought them to the county of Los Angeles, 7 billion people, each person would have a space 4 by 4 square feet to call their own. There would be enough room left over in the county of Los Angeles for 2 Bermuda-sized common areas to serve food on. This is a big place, but that's important because the size of the place allows for possibility. You can always go someplace else and go to do your own thing. Scale is important. Breathing room. It's very critical. The other thing that's interesting about America is it is the only planet on Earth that is incredibly contiguous. A contiguousness. That is to say, you go to almost any place in America and there is an American there. It is not evenly populated, but if you look at a map of the population of the United States, we're everywhere. You know, from sea to shining sea, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, there's always an American. Look at Russia, for example, which has a larger landmass. 90% of the population lives in a little sliver, lives in a little area. You go to Canada, which is the second largest country on Earth, and what do you find? All the Canadians live along the American border. The rest of it is big empty space. Here, we have all of the country to use. And finally, what's interesting about the physical landscape of the United States of America is the simple fact that we have incredible natural resources. I know we talk about being dependent on foreign oil. The truth is that if we locked up the borders tomorrow, we could basically be a completely self-sufficient nation for hundreds of years to come. We are blessed with resources, physically, incredible. Space, okay? What else is true? The other half, the other topography that we need to take into account is what I call the socio-political landscape of America. What is the nature of this place? Well, it's spelled out in 2 fantabulous documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. These are the foundation for the social and political nature of who we are as Americans. I don't know if you've ever really studied either of those 2 documents, and I would love for everybody to actually be able to read every one of those, every word of those documents, because they are incredible. They're unbelievable documents. The Declaration of Independence shows how we think. The Declaration of Independence was an incredibly detailed, agonized explanation for why we felt it absolutely essential to get rid of England as a country. Detailed. You know, failure of the crown, failure of the crown, failure of the crown. The Constitution was kind of the answer to the question after they had committed to independence, now what do we do? And the answer was, whatever we do, it's not going to be what was before. Whatever we do, it's going to be different from everything that came before. I don't know if many of you know that the Constitution of the United States is a unique document, among other reasons, because, for example, England still does not have a constitution, a written constitution. England is essentially a gentleman's agreement, which I think has been abrogated more often than honored in actual fact. We believe in the written word because we don't trust anybody. Americans are not supposed to trust the government. It's not what we're about, but more on that later. So that is the area in which we do our work, the area in which we become Americans. So let's take a look at some other things. For example, let's take a look at the 7 pillars, I call them, of the America Code. The 7 things that define the prototypical American. The first one, interestingly enough, and it comes from being a simple nation of immigrants, is that Americans are fundamentally disenfranchised, diligent optimists. 3 words, all of which have to work together. Disenfranchised. Americans are people who fundamentally do not fit in other people's systems. They didn't get the breaks, they didn't get the right to do what so they left. They said, you know, I have enough of this, I don't fit this place. But to be disenfranchised and stay where you are simply makes you a big complainer. So what you have to do is do something about it. And so America is populated by people who were disenfranchised where they were, but were diligent about doing something about it. My parents' journey, 10 years, 3 continents, 4 countries. Okay? That's a long journey to stay on. They knew that the destination was America, and as I said, the destination was home, not a new place, something familiar and friendly. And in order to make that kind of a journey, you have to be optimistic. So the trait of America that makes Americans, Americans first and foremost, is disenfranchised, diligent optimists. The next trait, the next pillar, if you will, of the America Code, is that we are collective congenital amnesiacs. No country on the face of the earth has a shorter memory span than America. We don't remember anything. Not for long, and not so seriously. What's good about that is that we don't hold any grudges. America is probably the singularly most forgiving country. We go to war with you, we beat you up, you win. Remember that movie, The Mouse That Roared? Best thing that can happen to you is go against America and lose. Because we don't forget, we don't remember, we don't hold grudges. So for example, in Bosnia-Herzegovina, when that part of Europe, the Balkans fell apart, a lot of people said, well, what's going on there? What happened? That was a 400-year-old argument, finally coming to resolution. We don't have any such things. The bad side of being collective congenital amnesiacs is we keep doing the same things to ourselves over and over and over and over again. The national economy, I call it the economy, the national economy is a figment of our collective imagination. And we keep forgetting that we've been there before. Do you know that this is the 47th, this last recession was the 47th recession in the United States of America since 1790. Every 5 years, we have a recession. Every 5 years. Count on it. There will be another one. Soon we get this one, there'll be another one. If you're smart as an investor, understand the fact that there will be another recession after this one. Why? Because we keep forgetting how we got into the last one. And on we go, over again. The first real problem in the American economy was a thing called a rich man's panic. The rich man's panic in 1907. The market rose by 400% and crashed. And by the way, it rose because people were allowed to buy things they couldn't afford on the assumption that they would be worth more and finally sell them when the time came. That didn't work. 1907, repeated in 1929, repeated a number of times. Okay, so Americans forget. But that's a good thing. That's why we have so many things that are currently made in Vietnam. Remember Vietnam? Okay, now we're buying their furniture and everybody's happy. Okay, that's the wonderful thing about America. That's our second great gift to the world, by the way. Our first gift was liberty, individual liberty. The second great gift of America and our contribution to world peace is the very simple fact of global consumerization. The more people have a little piece of something, the less likely we are to bomb our markets, kill our vendors, and move on. Okay, so there's an interesting thing that's going on. We forget. Let's go on. What else makes America America? Another thing that makes America America is the fact that we are fueled by the principle of possibility. That's all we really believe in. We believe in the possibility of things. You know, Bobby Kennedy said, some dream of things that are and ask why, and I think of things that could be and should be and ask why not. That's fundamentally the American code. It's possible. It should be possible. Bill Lear, the great inventor of the Learjet, was told that his plane could not fly. He was not an aeronautical engineer. They told him it could not fly. Well, he believed it could. And based on that possibility, he made it so. We believe in possibility. What else? What else we believe in is the idea of individual liberty. We take it for granted. We need to be reminded that when the Constitution was written, the very idea that an individual was worth something was alien to most of the world.